the theme of my day today is juggle everything, change everything around. Even for one of the stuff, like next week, I actually registered for a class. Remember how I said I wanted to learn like a different language, like potentially? I registered for it, but apparently it had to be canceled due to the unforeseen circumstance. So whatever that was about. So I guess I need to find like a different place. Might be a little last minute, but I think I can do it still. And then something completely different had to be changed as well due to an unforeseen circumstance. It makes me actually wonder if they were interrelated somehow, like the instructor was somehow related to that. Maybe it's just a coincidence, but it's a little weird. Yeah, there's a lot of tech-related stuff today with drones and even phones. I guess everyone's heard about that iPhone X now. The thing that caught my attention was the price. $1,319 to $1,529 Canadian, like to buy this phone. Wow, you can buy like a whole powerful laptop or computer with that. I guess people will still buy it, right? And it'll still be in huge demand. I'm still one of those people, I don't buy like a new phone every single year. I just don't see the purpose if your old phone works like for what you need anyways. You guys' comments actually made me think about some stuff with drones and even like DJI support, which I thought I'd talk a bit about. And I found out that XJet, thank you for the support again. And I basically trying to make people aware of the Transport Canada and all that stuff. And that's a genuine thank you as well as for everyone else who supports me in that way. I mean, for me it means a lot because I'm not exactly the biggest name like to do stuff like this. Like I just do what I can, so it's really great to see people really appreciate it and trying to pass it along the message. Hopefully in the future I can help you guys get like a bigger voice, which I think the hobby really needs just based on the exposure. Usually it's all negative news and stuff, but one step at a time. But again, thank you everyone for your support constantly. Right, now for some of the other comments, quick question about like what is it that I can't talk about and all that. It's basically me being involved in some kind of big motion picture, film, TV, so that obviously it has to be tight under wraps. So I can't talk about that stuff because they get really paranoid. Or likewise, I can't exactly just whip up the camera, and even if I'm just talking about vlog completely unrelated, imagine taking pictures of the set and stuff like that. People are like, what the heck are you doing? So yeah, I just can't talk about that stuff usually. But I would love to though. I mean, that's what I wanted to do before for fun and documentation purposes. But yeah, I just can't think of a way to do that. This camera I use is a Sony FDR X3000, and I don't think that person was a vlogger yesterday with that lady arguing with the bus driver. She's just trying to take pictures and stuff. I guess I was assuming anyways you were joking. Actually, just thinking more about that analogy of the cars and the roads. I'm just trying to think here with your example here. I guess a more accurate way, if you're trying to say with training and understanding the rules, it would be like saying, I guess they want a bicycle rider to understand everything about a car in general, which makes no sense. They should just understand the basic rules of the road, not like everything in general, like how to drive manual, automatic. Like, it just doesn't make sense in that case. Or I guess the crazier, over-exaggerated example was if drones were cars instead right now with the hysteria, and aircrafts were people, because that's what you're trying to protect, like people from the vehicles, it would be almost like saying, for the car driver, you need to understand every type of individual in the world. If they have a disability, how do you identify it? How do you react in terms of driving? Like, that's too overboard in my opinion. Like, come on. I mean, you just have basic rules with the traffic lights and this, and then, get it done with. And for the DJI support, I had an interesting thought about that, just because everyone's saying like, okay, that's it, they're not gonna do anything now. I have a little thought about that, but I'll save it to a little later. But in terms of talks about tech's regulation and how, really silly regulations can slow down the tech, this is kind of actually interesting. It says in Rwanda, they're actually going past like places like the US in terms of things like drone delivery, and that's mostly just due to the fact that they can implement, I guess, changes to the laws and stuff very quickly. So it says here, countries like Rwanda can make decisions fast and implement new technologies in concert with new regulations fast. So we're now in a position where the US is trying to follow Rwanda. It says here, the locals call the zipline drones Sky Ambulance as they soar overhead and swoop in low drop-off life-saving blood supplies by parachute to remote hospitals and clinics located hours outside the Rwanda capital of Kigali, if I pronounce that right. Like, the big thing here is you would assume places like the US would be the leader in this, but no, it's because of a smaller country, is just because of the way they're reacting fast to regulations. I mean, it even says countries like Rwanda can make decisions fast and can implement new technologies in concert with new regulations fast. And continues, it says they're not trying to catch up to US infrastructure, they're just leapfrogging roads and trucks and motorcycles and going to a new type of infrastructure. I mean, that's something to think about too. All this bureaucracy and like nonsensible laws, in my opinion, like slowing the tech down. I mean, just look at this, man. Like a smaller country is just basically taking it from under the rug from everyone else. So hopefully, like, you know, that's kind of a thing to think about for all those regulators where they think they're doing the right thing, but in my opinion, they're just stifling creativity and the growth of the tech. For drones in the US, though, this news was kind of confusing to me. It says, man charged after drone hovers outside a high-rise. From what I gather, like, the guy was probably trying to take videos or something like that, and he left his drone hovering there for a while, and somebody, I guess, saw it, like a resident or something, so they complained about it. But yeah, it turns out he was charged for it. It says here, he attempted to recover the drone when it landed on the 3rd floor, police says. He was taken into custody and charged with 1 count each of criminal trespass, reckless conduct, and breach of peace. He was also charged with 2 counts of having a small unmanned aircraft, police says. That was a confusing thing to me. I was like, you can get charged money just by having a drone? And to my knowledge too, you don't have to actually register the drone in the US, correct? Unless you are doing it for some kind of commercial operation. So yeah, that was a little confusing to me personally. Right, so with the DJI and a lot of you saying how basically it's my turn to do the first move, so to speak, because they're probably not going to contact me back. If you think about it, I already made the move. They said basically they're bringing it up to the manager of the highest possible position now. I have that on record in every single form, literally every single form of contact I communicated with. I have basically the documented proof. They said they're bringing it up to the next level and for me to wait patiently. And yes, that documentation even includes things like, you know, keeping track of all their weird YouTube comments, the inconsistent ones where they even promised like you guys saying, don't worry, they'll take care of it. It just takes a bit of time. So I was even reading the forums again and, you know, apparently people are still having the same issue, and there has been people who've been waiting for weeks and weeks without any type of response, even when like the support promised them that it'll be taken care of with the manager and all that. I mean, there's not much I can do really at this point. I mean, fortunately, I'm not like a commercial operator where I desperately need this right away. I can see how so many people would just say, forget it. Like, I'm not going to try to find out what's wrong. But fortunately, I do have a little bit of that luxury to kind of wait it out to see what they actually do. I mean, what do you guys think? Would you be inclined to just give up like right now? Like, what would you do in this situation? I mean, for me, again, I mean, it sucks because I don't get to fly. I can't capture the footage and have fun, you know, making videos and all that just as my, like, you know, stress relief for the day, my creative outlet. But at the same time, this way there's absolutely no excuse in terms of how they're treating, like, say, myself or everybody else. That's why, again, I said I'm thankful when people like yourselves, for example, you support me because you're being consistent in the way you do it. Again, it's about the consistency. I mean, that way, like, we're documenting all this, they can't say, yeah, but we did this or that. Because even I see it for now, like, those comments, all they really are like a PR stunt, basically, if they're not actually doing anything. I mean, it shouldn't take, for example, for me to be on, like, say right now, like, say TV, and then I start blasting them saying DJI Sports sucks, for them to say, okay, now I will do something. Like some of you guys mentioned too, I mean, for some people who fly it irresponsibly just because they think they have like a big audience, for example, then they say, okay, we'll take care of it. I mean, for me, I shouldn't have to say any of that stuff. I mean, if they're gonna treat me like really like bad and everything like that, then I want to, like, you know, document everything to show how it is. They have to be consistent as to how they treat people, and it should be like with professionalism, not with this like random robot response, not caring, returning stuff 3 times and not getting the stuff right. So again, hopefully they change, but we'll see. I just bumped into a friend, so I decided why not just hang out for a while and let's eat or something like that. And then when he sees this, the first thing he says, "You're not one of those food guys, are you? That vlogs about this and this and this." I'm like, no. Although I'd be inclined to say, what's wrong if I did do that?
Well, okay, I've been at like a round table Chinese banquet.
Yeah.
Where when the food came, everybody took photos.
Yeah.
And then they all put it on Facebook, and then they all proceeded to like each other. Like, that was just like,
oh, man.
I'm just sitting there, it's like, this is the weirdest thing ever.
Is it? That's hilarious.
I didn't know it was coming so morning.
Okay, it got really late. As you can see, this mall is like virtually empty now, so just on my way back. And yeah, some of you guys were saying with that DJI thing, hopefully I get it back, otherwise I'll miss all the fall colors and stuff like that. I mean, at this point, what can I say? I was actually talking to a friend. He was saying, for example, if he was a customer service manager or something like that and he saw DJI responding the way they were responding, he'd probably fire them on the spot. But I was thinking, is there any fall colors of drone footages I can edit? Why not? Let's find something to edit. right, see you guys later.